Hey y'all, it's Gemini Jazz with House of Chiron, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about me, right? Who is Gemini Jazz and why Gemini Jazz, right? So, we'll talk about House of Chiron a little bit. So, I began House of Chiron at the end of 2018. 2018 was rough for me, very rough, but absolutely necessary. And I began House of Chiron. It wasn't even named House of Chiron. I'll get into how it became House of Chiron in a moment. But this Instagram, House of Chiron, was originally Gemini Jazz, right? And I began this page as a way to express my true self, right? So a lot of my family and a lot of my friends did not know this side of me. They did not know that I had, these spiritual gifts and this ability and this love and this knack for astrology. And, tarot is not typically my thing. It's not what I actually began, wanting to do. But I've been in school for psychology for a little while, getting ready to graduate. But, so I started this page just a way of me expressing myself through just my divination work and, doing my spell work. And I don't even really share much of that because, that's something that's sacred to me. And, we'll get into that too. But, so I realized that this has been like me hiding myself, right? Hiding myself from the world, hiding my true self from the world. So this page really kind of broke me out in a sense. Like, I'm coming out, honey. Like, here I am, right? But it developed into House of Chiron after going through such a difficult time and realizing that I have been in this difficult space for longer than I thought. It was one situation to the next, one circumstance to the next. It was just like a never-ending cycle of events, that was breaking me loose. And I named it House of Chiron when I was speaking to my beautiful friend Chanel. And I've mentioned her before in one of my previous posts as to how we linked back up. We've known each other for about almost 10 years. Yeah, something like that. And I just reached out to her because I needed a reading because, like I said, I was going through a difficult time. I just wanted a damn reading. But what I got was way more, and I'm so happy. So happy that I got way more. And I was speaking with her, just taking this to do, just making it a business, And I don't even know, of course I want to do psychology and I want to have my own practice and be a counselor, a therapist, do all that. So I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to link astrology with the psychology. I know there's a link. And I had this thought years ago when I first began school that there's a link between psychology and astrology, but I wasn't quite sure. I just said I was going to find it. I didn't care if I was going to be the first one or not. Of course, I'm the first one. I was fresh. I didn't know. But, so with me almost finishing school, I was about a year and a half or so away, almost 2 years away from finishing school. And I determined, okay, well, I'm going to start this as the business, the counseling therapy business. And since I'm already, diving into astrology, I'm just going to start it here. And I was talking to Chanel, and I said that, I have developed this strong love and liking to Chiron, the asteroid, the wounded healer. And, because it was through wounding myself by taking on the wounds of others, taking it into myself, adapting to the environment, adapting to the lifestyle around me, that, I created this life that I have, and I went through the things that I did to come out of it to where I can help others. So, Chiron, right? And I wanted the name to be something about Chiron. Well, if you know a little bit about astrology, you know that there are houses in astrology. Chiron is an asteroid that is also viewed in astrology. It's your wounds that develop during childhood and so on and so forth, right? So I was talking to Chanel, and I came up with a few names. My son even came up with some names, my oldest. And I wrote them all down, and I read them all out loud to Chanel over the phone. And we both picked House of Chiron, because there are houses in astrology, and a house is where you go, your home, to feel comfortable, to feel safe. Your home should be your haven. Your home should be your place of healing and retreat. And also in astrology, the houses have different meanings. There are 12 houses in astrology, so each house has a different meaning, a different purpose in your life. So House of Chiron was born that way. House of Chiron came from me wounding myself and then healing myself. I'm not done healing, of course, because that's never ending. But I'm a whole lot better than what I was. And I'm just excited. I'm just happy about it. That I didn't take this serious at first. It was just a way, an outlet for me, right? And so, with that being said, with it being a way of for me to express who I really was, it was also me hiding who I really was. And digging deeper into my own birth chart and, into my own psychology and whatnot, working on my own wounds, my own healing, me and my beautiful friend Chanel, she just recently discovered that I have these inconjunctions in my chart, right? So that is the separation of the self. That is the compartmentalization that I'm able to do so well. Like, what works over here does not necessarily work over there, or I don't have to show up over there like how I show up over here, kind of thing. And so it made so much sense when she explained it to me that I have all these things, right, in my second house. In Gemini, I have all these planets. I have my sun, I have my Mercury, and I have Chiron in Gemini in my second house. And they are all in conjunction to Saturn in my seventh house. Is it Saturn? Yes, Saturn. I believe Saturn. Can't remember off the top of my head. Yes, it's Saturn. So that is me basically restructuring, breaking dynamics of myself, because the sun is your personality, your Chiron is your wounds, my Mercury is my communication, how I talk. Also, like my siblings, short distance travels, all kinds of things, right? With Mercury, my way of communicating, and so I had to. It was the way I showed up with my friends and with my family and with the world and just the public eye. The way I showed up was the way everybody wanted jazz to be, not necessarily the way jazz really was. So with that being said, it was like I had to merge these things. I had to integrate all of these things. I had to integrate who I am on a higher level, on a lower level. My light versus my dark, all of it. I had to integrate all of it to become this whole person. So I'm going through this integration right now. Right, I'm integrating all these things. I've recently just like began sharing things on my personal page. I do have a personal page, by the way. That was my first page, and it's just Gemini Jazz, whatever. But I began sharing things from House of Chiron on my personal page because it was more of that people pleasing, showing up how everybody wanted me to show up, being who they wanted me to be, whoever the hell they are, all that shit. Like, it's a no. But, yeah, I just recently started, like, sharing those things on that page because I don't give a damn no more. Like, call me what you want, say what you want. I don't give a damn. It is what it is. Come get a reading because you might need one. Who knows? So the inconjunctions in my chart are now, they're now merging. I'm integrating these things that have separated myself. I have separated from the self, right? It's like separating your spirit from yourself, separating from the flesh, separating from the spirit, right? So I have been this, separated myself for whatever reason, probably due to childhood wounds, conditioning, who knows? We'll dig into that another day. But the separation of the self, right? I'm now integrating these things that were once separated. I'm bringing them all together. I'm merging all these things, and I can see it. Not only can I see it, I can feel it. And I'm just here for the good news. So this is just the first video of many that will come to discuss about who I am, why I am, and all the things about jazz. And yeah, I hope y'all stay tuned for all the good stuff because this is just the beginning. Y'all just got to know how I got here. Or really, I didn't even get to know how I got here. Y'all just know that I'm here. That's all y'all got right now. Said I'm here. I'm here right now. I'm integrating all these parts of myself into become one whole person. Of course, I'm a whole person, but the acceptance of that whole person is where I'm at right now. And yeah, it's beautiful to fully accept yourself because then that means you can't get your feelings hurt by nobody if you know everything that you are and you're fine with everything that you are and you fine with everything that you ain't, because I sure in the hell am. So that's where I am with this thing. And I hope y'all do stay tuned for the good shit because I got some good shit. I got a lot of stuff to talk about. So yeah, and the whole purpose of me discussing who I am and whatnot is because if I am going to aim to help people find what it is that they need to heal themselves, you all must be able to trust me that I am capable. And the only way I can tell y'all and show y'all that I'm capable is by showing y'all my own journey. So, with that being said, it's Gemini Jazz with the House of Chiron. And I'm just here for the good news, honey. Y'all have a good night.